If you've never baked with Spelt before, you are in for such a treat. Spelt has a delicious, it's got a slightly nutty flavor, and it makes a soft, beautiful loaf with freshly milled flour. Okay, so today I'm going to show you exactly how I make my Spelt bread from start to finish, along with the little tips that's really gonna help it turn out light, flavorful, and it is so perfect for everyday sandwiches. Okay, let's get baking. For this Spelt sourdough bread, let's begin with our flour. I went ahead and already fresh milled it up. If you don't have a grain mill, no big deal. Just get the flour from the store. The freshly milled flour just provides extra nutritional benefits. It's got 40 out of the 44 essential nutrients that you need. So it really is. It makes this bread a superfood. So that's something to think about. But if you only have, if you're like, I'm not ready for that yet, that's okay. Get it from the store. It's still going to be nutritional. You're leaving out all the yucky stuff that they put in the bread at the store. So good for you. Okay, thanks. That's my dog Waggles barking at another person. He is like hysterical. Okay, so I put in 3 cups or 360 grams of freshly milled spelt. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 1/4 cup of room temperature water. That's going to be 295 grams of water. So the next thing I'm going to do, so I've been saying grams and cups. It's because you can use whatever you want. Y'all, I'm a little bit like, I'm going to call myself creative. Okay, a creative brain, right? That's what I'm saying. And so I use cups and the grams. I don't know why I do that. I just do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tare my scale, because for the honey, I don't want to, worry about a tablespoon because it's sticky. So this is where I'm going to put, you can put in 1 tablespoon of honey, or you can do 21 grams. I get my honey from Costco. Is the wildflower honey. But you can use any honey that you want. And then last thing is that you want to make sure that your sourdough is really good and bubbly and super active before you begin, because that is going to affect the strength and the rise of your bread. Because a weak starter, it's going to give you a flat, dense loaf, because Spelt's gluten structure, it doesn't have the same strength as a modern wheat. So just make sure that you have fed your starter within 4 to 8 hours, and just make sure it's active and bubbly. Okay, so this is going to be 75 grams. This is where I use my my scale, or it could be 1/3 cup. I had to look at my recipe that I made. I created for you guys. And I had my taste testers. By the way, when you're using your scale, go slow. I had my taste testers, and they described this as a mild flavored bread, mild sourdough. And it is perfect for sandwiches, they said. And it would even be great with, one of my taste testers said that it would even be great with, to make banana bread, or, toast it with bananas over it with the, because he detected some flavoring in there. By the way, while I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and mix the dough so that everything's dissolved together, and that that the crust was soft, and the bread was like a little bit chewy. So like they really all enjoyed it. So I always appreciate my feedback, and when I get tips from my taste testers, that's why it takes me a while to put these videos out, because I'm trying to put in, the recipes that like really work, and that I've tested, and then I've given to my taste testers, and I have like really made it to where it is, just, I'm not going to say perfect, but just, well, yeah, let's go ahead and give ourselves some compliments. Let's say perfect. Okay. So I want to let you know that Spelt is sticky. Okay. And it's not as sticky as einkorn. I don't know if you've heard about einkorn. Einkorn's another ancient grain, but Spelt is not as sticky as einkorn, but it still is, a little bit sticky. So that's why I love using my spatulas. Oh, another tip that I got was that this bread is spongy. That was the one. And I was like, that's a perfect adjective. It is spongy. Like, y'all, I'm so excited for you to make this bread. You're just going to be so happy with it. Your family's going to love it. And you're going to find out, wow, this is like an easy bread to make. I mean, and it's so nutritious. It's a superfood. Like, Just so excited. I get so passionate about it. I know it's a little nuts, but whatever. Okay, go ahead and let's go ahead and cover this for 30 minutes. By the way, if you notice, I just mixed this. I didn't like knead it and stuff. You just want to mix it until everything's been incorporated. By the way, you can cover this with a plate or a tea towel. I just love these reusable shower covers. They make my life easy. Okay, I will see you in, here's my favorite timer, 30 minutes. 30 minutes is up. I want to show you what my loaf looks like. Okay, it looks like this. And our next step is we are going to be adding in the salt now, because when you add the salt in after this 30-minute rest, it gives it a chance to give it a fluffier, bigger, stronger rise. I'm going to now sprinkle in 1 teaspoon of salt in here, which is also 6 grams if you're using your scale. And now what we're going to do, I like to wet my hands because Spelt, as I said, is a sticky dough. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some gentle stretch and fold. So you just lift it up from each corner and press it down. And you want to be gentle because Spelt has a weaker gluten structure. And this is going to take the place of kneading this bread. And you're going to want to do it for, I like to do it for every 30 minutes for 2 hours. That just makes it just the perfect, look at me struggling with the shower cap. Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do is I just set my timer for 30 minutes. I do this over the course of 2 hours, and I'll see you in a little bit. It has been 30 minutes over the course of 2 hours. This is what my dough looks like. It's like sticky, but not like uncontrollable. Now, if your kitchen is between 75 and 78 degrees, you're gonna let it rest for 1 hour. My kitchen is 73 degrees, so it is going to need to be rested for 2 hours. The goal, obviously you wanna cover it, and the goal is to let it rise 50%. You don't want it doubled, just like 50% of what it looks like right now. All right, I will see y'all in 2 hours. It has been 2 hours, and I wanted to show you this. Look at all the bubbles. Like this is what's called the bulk fermentation, and you can tell it has been fermenting. I mean, it is just so, oh, I love this part. And you can also tell that it rose 50%. And then look, like if you press it in there, it's like, it's domey, and it's really nice. And it's sticky, but it's not like goopy. So if you don't have a tool like this, I love this one. I use this all the time. It's just a little scraper, and it helps to clean up the bowl and get look at all the bubbles, the dough out. I use this one all the time, and then I use my other dough scraper all the time. So there's just certain tools that just really help. And these you can get for oh my gosh, they're so inexpensive, like under $10. I don't even remember. Anyways, okay, so now that I've got this, the bubbles, you can tell it's like ready to go. It is so soft, and it is spongy. Like you're gonna love the feel of this dough. It is just, oh, it's just so fun. So what I want you to do is go ahead and line. I've got these cast iron pans. I've got 2 of them. I love them because they don't have any yucky coatings on them or anything, and they heat evenly. So when I bought them, I bought 2. And normally I just grease them up really well. You can grease them up with olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, butter, whatever. However, for Spelt, I don't know what it is with Spelt because well, yes, I do. It's so sticky. It will stick to my pan. Like I have to grease it up till it's just like too much. And then some of it will come out. So this is a big tip for you guys. Line your pan with parchment paper. So that's already done. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to go ahead and shape our loaf. So I pull it almost halfway over, and then I pull it over again. So it's forms this, and then I stretch it out long ways, and I do my jelly roll method. So here, let me get it on camera so you can really see it. So what I do is I pull it and then roll it, pull it back, roll it. It's just, what I'm trying to do is create some tension in here, because this will help with the oven spring. And then look at that big bubble. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I love, you know what? I mean, every time, I don't know if you're like this, but bread making just doesn't get old. Every loaf is like the first loaf. I get so excited when I do it. It's just so fun. And then I tuck it in on the sides. I love the texture of spelt bread. It is just soft, spongy. It's just, this is what's called threading the dough. And then I pinch it together and I thread it again one more time. I'm just like to give it a good shape so I can, it'll just help it hold together and just build some tension. That's the only thing I'm doing. And then what you want to do is you want to flip it over. And then here, let's see what I do is I get that off my counters real quick. So easy. And then you want to press it down in your loaf so it fills it all the way out. I just use my knuckles. So I want to try to make it as even as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'll be using this for my sandwich spreads this week. So I like to make it as even as possible. Okay. And then we are going to let it proof until it's just at the rim of the pan, just a little bit over. I will let you know, go ahead and cover it. I will let you know that spelt ferments fast. I was making this loaf and I got distracted. And so you need to, and it overproofs. It was over on the sides, but it was okay. I just like punched it back in and put it in the oven. So if that happens to you, don't like panic, just punch it back in and then, you know, you're ready to bake. But I'm going to let this sit out for about 45 minutes and then I'm going to check it. For reference, my degrees is at 73 degrees. The last time I did this, it took about an hour and 20 minutes, but you know, every day is different. So just keep track of your loaf. Here is what the dough looks like. Now it could take literally 1 hour to 5 hours. It just depends on the kitchen and your temperature. So if yours takes more to 5 hours, don't be discouraged. But anyways, so you want it up there. And here is a big tip. So as you are preheating the oven to 425, go ahead and put the top part of your Dutch pan, or not your Dutch pan, your cast iron pan in there. And this is going to create an initial steam rise. And let me go ahead and put this in the oven while I'm talking to you guys. And then what you're gonna wanna do is you want to bake it in the oven at 425 for 15 minutes. And then what you want to do is you want to turn down the oven to 375 and you want to bake it for 30 minutes. I will see you then. That's my big trick for a big oven spring. I just pulled the sourdough out of the oven and now I am going to put butter on it because I love a soft crust, and putting butter on it while it's still warm gives it a soft crust. And my secret to the sourdough that I use is I leave it in the cast iron pan for 10 minutes. This helps it not to crack if I were to immediately dump it out because a temperature change like it is too extreme, and also is going to keep on cooking on the inside. So I will see you in 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes and now we are going to put it out on a tea towel. Now the reason, oh, I want to get my gloves. I don't need my gloves. So I did parchment paper, remember, because it is, I didn't want it to stick to my cast iron pan. So it's like super easy to pull out. And you don't want to keep it in the pan longer than 10 minutes because you don't want a gummy bottom. So look at how beautiful the bottom is. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it's so pretty. Y'all, when you make this bread, your house is going to smell so good. And I mean, it is, I know you've heard this before, but it is so hard not to just like cut a big slice right now, but you want it to continue to cook. And I also like to lay it on its side and I'll cover it up because I like a really soft crust. And so I'm going to lay it on its side for about an hour, maybe two, until it's completely cooled, because I want the inside to continue cooking. And then we will do the final reveal. Yay. All right, let's go ahead and slice into it. This, oh my goodness, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? This is what it looks like. I'm going to show you the whole bread. That side and that. It is so glossy and beautiful. And this bread is perfect for making sandwiches, toast, just anything. Eating it by itself. I love to just eat it by itself or even with butter. You just can't go wrong. All right, let me show you what the bread looks like. There's a slice right there, slice right there. And then look how bendy this is. Oh my goodness. Look at this. So soft and it's just delicious. Yum. In my mouth it goes. Thanks for watching.